Okay.
In a sense, and we have.
Is this water therapy?
Well, it's actually just because it's easier to filter that way, and the other thing is you have to remember that all we really do with these guys is feed them, so they should do some work.
Okay.
This is a gray seal, and it actually has seal pox, which is much like chicken pox for us. That's what you can see.
Look at his paw. Is that part of
The
it?
flipper, yeah.
Oh.
And basically what will happen is it's a viral infection, so there's not a lot we can do for it other than provide basically supplemental care. So we're just going to do feed, and we'll put them on antibiotics,
Right.
you know, it's precautionary.
Now this will not be one that's released.
Not right now. It'll take a couple more weeks for this to clear up. We've had seal pox that lasts a long time, but we'll wait until that resolves itself, and then we'll put it back out in the wild. This here is another gray seal, and you can see this animal here came up on March 18th, and it was in Watermill, on Dune Road. We have seals come up all around Long Island. So years ago it used to be that seals were just stranding on the east end. Now we also have them go to as far Rockaway. But this happens to be a gray seal that came up, and it's undergoing rehab. You can see that all it's really doing now is just hanging out waiting for it to us to feed it, and then we'll put them back out into the wild. This will be another animal that will be put on our adoption program once it's cleared by our animal care staff.
When you put them out into the wild, do you try to put them where there's another seal population, or you try to let them have time to
Well, actually,
reassimilate?
we can release them in any place really, because there's seals all around the island. And what we found with some of our tracking data is that it doesn't really matter if we release them here at Shinnecock or Long Island Sound. They still tend to go where other seals are found.
They're going to find each
They can all find the baseball stadium or football stadium to see the game, so they're all able to make their way. Which is what we're trying to do, is get them to be out on their own again. So here's another seal here that's a gray seal as well.
Look at this beauty. Oh my, look at that face. What's wrong with this one?
This one here had, it looks like it had a broken jaw and a bunch of abrasions. You can see its lower jaw is kind of messed up, but it does look like it's able to eat on its own. So then this would be a candidate that we'll be able to get back out hopefully in the near future.
Wonderful. Oh, beautiful. Just beautiful. Look at those eyes.
What's interesting, and you saw some of this is when we got off the seal and they started rolling around. I mean, they can be aggressive, so that's why we want to encourage the public to stay away.
Right.
As I say, if you're ever thinking about how close you are, just back up. Just be
Right.
close. We've all of our staff here, at some point we get bitten by a seal, and it's usually something that we did wrong, not something that the seal did. It's, you know, that's just, it's nothing personal.
Ooh, that's frightening.
Doesn't mean it hurts any of us.
Oh, right. Any broken bones or anything?
Not yet. So, there's just, you know, a seal.
Hi there.
Once again, another broken jaw.
Okay.
Gray
How do
seals
they break their jaws?
It's hard to say exactly why. It's one of these things that I refer to a lot of the seals that we have. We get young of the year, so I use them more like kids on a playground. You know, they're going to be out, they're going to be doing their thing, they're going to get themselves in trouble,
In fall.
and they'll get cuts, scrapes, bruises, and not every cut, scrape, or bruise has to come in to get care. But in some cases it's extreme, and then we'll bring them into our facility. But once again,
do you set the jaw, or do you just let it heal?
We let it heal. We'll look at it depending on how bad it is. I mean, our veterinarians will look at it and determine what's the best course of action. We don't get super aggressive with this because in order to do anything aggressive, then you'd have to sedate the animal, and these are voluntary breathers. So what that means is that if we sedate them, they can actually just not be alert enough to breathe again. So that can make them become pretty upset. So we have to do everything the hard way, is what we usually say. And that's it. I don't think even have a harvest seal. Gray seal, gray seal. No, they're all gray seals. This is another gray seal. This one looks a little. This one's actually molting or blowing its coat.
Okay.
Seals undergo a catastrophic molt, so at the end of it, so they'll lose all their fur. And that's one of the decisions that we have to make whether we tag an animal or not. Is because it's attached to the fur, will it fall off or will it not? So like a seal like this.
$3,800.
That's right. You know. And the interesting part is those are usually the animals that are giving you the most interesting data, and then the tag falls off right away.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
You know, quite well, whereas the other species that I mentioned are more tooth whales, so they work more in our environment, close to the shore, so there could be a variety of reasons. But the proper care would be assess the animal. If you realize that you can't rehabilitate them, basically we want to find out what's wrong, rehabilitate the animal, put it back out. We can't do that, just pushing it off, not necessarily what humane need to do.
Right, right, I understand. Wow.
Well, this is a green sea turtle, and in this case here, you know this animal here is dead because it was confiscated. But the real important message is that a cold sun sea turtle can look exactly like this turtle on the beach. So it can look just like it's motionless and dead, and that's why we encourage the public not to go out. Don't pick it up. Don't try to do anything.
It can snap too, just
Basically,
like that.
yeah, they can snap too, but also remember that if it is cold sun, by moving it around a lot of times too, you can actually cause damage to it. Well, if you think about it, you can cause heart problems, if you will. But if we're going to have a dermal shock, it can get detrimental to us. Same things here. Turtles actually use their front flippers to breathe. So if you move it, because they don't really have diaphragm, but when they move it, it expands their
Do they have lungs?
thoracic cavity, and they have lungs that open right underneath here, right underneath the cavity. So take home messages. When you see a turtle that looks like this, assume that it could be alive. Call our hotline number. What's that? 631-369-9829 number.
They both have light on the screen.
You call that,
Our viewers.
and we'll get us involved, and we'll determine the best course of action. We don't even ask you to move the animal. If you wanted to do anything, you could shield it from the wind. From the wind, because usually it's cold. So the wind is going to be blowing on it, and it'll actually make the animal colder. So you can shield it. Unfortunately, there's usually enough debris around that you can make it. And usually mark the beach where you see it.
Okay.
So we know because you'll be walking down the beach a mile and say, oh yeah, just down the beach a little bit. It helps us find that.
Okay, did I see in your literature where sometimes you could use the shield for a porpoise or a mammal?
Right, over here we have a model of a dolphin that we use.
Okay.
This here is a common dolphin model that we use actually with school groups. We go out and with some of our training, and what we'll do is we'll educate the public on what they will see us do, not what we want them to do,
Right.
but so they understand that the danger areas, like when we're back here by the flukes of the dolphin, that's a dangerous area. These animals are able to generate enough power that they can get their whole body out of the water. So if you got hit with the fluke, that would be bad. Dorsal fin, pectoral fin, that's actually when they help them regulate. So they'll actually want to lose heat or gain heat from those areas. So the shade idea is so that the animal doesn't necessarily get sunburned. You can make a shade structure. We do, you'll see us at times put water on the animal and try and cool them because they can lose heat in these areas. Key thing here is this is the blowhole right here.
That's
They
the
breathe
dangerous
air.
one. Yes.
You don't want to be putting water on the blowhole in this area right here. So what we do is when we show up on the beach, we'll have one of our biologists, they'll position themselves at the head of the animal. They'll start taking respirations and they'll monitor, and then we'll try to determine how we get the animal into a stretcher, which is much like this one here.
Oh, this is interesting.
Except it's not see-through,
Okay.
but it does have the openings just like a stretcher going to an ambulance.
Okay.
This here has openings for the pectoral flippers. We'll secure the animal in the stretcher, put him in a crate. Obviously the crate in our truck is made out of aluminum piping, not PVC piping. But we'll put it in there, secure the animal, and then that's how we bring it back to our facility.
How many men does it take?
Well, actually, it takes for us, we have 4 or 5 people that we lift an animal. It's about 100 pounds. Our staff, our biologist, Kim Dora, that's here, is our rescue program director, who was actually doing some of the video work earlier. They'll go out, and our team is trained to work with the people that are also out there, try to make sure we can maintain safe distance for the public. So we kind of work with the least amount of.
Since this is the dangerous area, will this not go through this piece of plastic?
It's not a matter of, see, the dangerous area, you can move around, but it's going to get kind of caught up in there. The real thing is that you don't want to be looking over this as it comes up. So you really just need to be able to keep the distance. They do move a little bit, but once you get there, and that's really what I'm always concerned about is, we consider this area right here, that, the danger area.
Okay.
So, you know, we don't want people hanging out here. And what you'll see a lot of times is the public will be sitting here holding this. And that's scary. So you need to try to get them away.
Got you.
And then keep in mind, even though an animal might be in the surf and it might be rolling around, it's still their environment. So even though they're rolling around, they're still a little better off than if we're trying to secure it and roll it around when you don't have a good plan of where you're going to go with it.
Gotcha.
And that's critical, is that many times we need to secure, be able to know where we're going to move it, put it into a truck and bring it to our facility. We want to have that plan worked out before we do anything. Otherwise, we're just kind of perpetuating more of the stress.
Gotcha.
And then the tank, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say, so this area back is dangerous for humans, but this area forward is dangerous if anybody tries to put water on the dolphin, because they can actually suffocate them.
They could, yep, they could actually get water in the hole, yeah.
Yeah.
And then what we do from here is we take it to our tank, our dolphin tank, which is outside. We have a crane that we use, then we can hoist it in, and then we have a biologist get into the tank, and then we have to do all the treatments in the tank in our dry suits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask this question. Everybody asks, what's the difference between a dolphin and a porpoise?
Well, the difference between a dolphin and a porpoise is a couple of differences. One is size.
Okay.
Porpoise is probably up to about 4 to 6 feet in that area, whereas a dolphin can get up to be about 30 feet. Like a killer whale is actually a dolphin. The teeth are different shapes. These are more pointy,
Okay.
whereas a harbor porpoise or a porpoise is more spade-like teeth. You also, with a porpoise, this here is called the rostrum. Okay. Sorry. Does that help? Or are we just making it worse? This here is called the rostrum.
Okay.
Okay. On a porpoise, you really don't have that. It's kind of just rounded. It's blunt, so it'll be a blunt front end. So dorsal fin will be a little bit smaller. So you have a couple of things that are different. Once again, size, shape of the teeth is different for a porpoise, and then the rostrum. It doesn't really have a elongated rostrum.
Oh, but what about attitude?
Well, it's interesting to say that because harbor porpoise, which are a small animal, as I said, 4 to 6 feet, they're a little bit high strung. I mean, they only live, 15 to 18 years. So use the word attitude, change it a little bit and say, how temperamental are they? They're very temperamental to work with, very difficult to work with. Whereas a common dolphin might be a little bit more easily interacted with. Harbor porpoise can be a little bit more stressful. It varies from species to species, and it also varies within the species. So keep in mind everything that we do, they don't know what we're doing.
Then we have Kristen, the intern, who's having fun feeding the seal. But I believe the seal is having a lot more fun than she is.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do this work without the help of our interns and volunteers.
A lot of people now, so now there we go. Fixed to the ceiling.
Yep.
So this is actually live.
That is live footage of the seal there.
These are the seals we saw eating just a few minutes ago, I bet.
Yep.
Wow.
Just taking it easy in their tank there. Not that bad of a life, right?
Well, I know. Why would you want to be released? Oh, it's the baby. Here she goes. And her mother. I believe she's 8 days old. And she's getting milk. How wonderful. And this is right here at the Atlantis Marine World. And you can come out and meet her and her mother. How beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? Let's Talk About Animals is sponsored by Pet Fest and the Pet Philanthropy Circle. Meow.
Let's Talk About Animals, hosted by Jewel.